Sorry about that. Hi, welcome to the Baron's Game Room. I'm Aaron as always. It is officially spooky season. I guess I probably could have got away with doing a video for spooky season last week, seeing as how it started on Tuesday and my videos were on Monday. I could have. Sorry, I was busy last week and couldn't film at all. But anyways, yes, it's officially spooky season, so as per usual, I'm going to be doing spooky themed games all this month as always. I'm going to give you a full how to play on a fun one I've had for a very long time. Zombie Dice. And all of its expansions too. Zombie Dice is a super simple pressure luck dice game for 2 or more players, and because it's so simple, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the expansions as well, because I have both the double feature expansion and the school bus expansion, something like that. Anyway, we'll go over all of them. So let's get down to the table, guys. So let's get to this. To start this off, whether you're using it or not, be sure to remove the school bus die from the cup. You don't need to have that one in the cup. And then, if you're not going to be using them, you don't want this, or this in there, as those are from the second expansion. So for the base game, you'll just have these green, red, and yellow dice. All of these dice represent humans. Each player is playing a zombie, and you are trying to catch and eat. The first player to catch and eat the 13 humans, so eat 13 brains. Let's get into how it goes. So all the dice will be in the cup, and on your turn, you can give it a shake. It might get loud, guys. And then reach in without looking and pull out 3 dice. Hey, there we go. Before we go on with how to play the game, let's go over the dice and their 3 sides. The 3 types of sides are the brain, which is if you roll that means you caught that human and you've eaten their brain. There are the feet. If a human rolls feet, that means they ran away from you. You missed them this turn. You can try and keep chasing them next turn, or you can just give up. And then, hey, go back. Then there's the shotgun blast. This means the human being ended up shooting you instead of you catching them or just running off. And yeah, if you get 3 of these are how you bust and end up losing the round. The way these split up are green ones have more brains. They have 50% brains, then 2 feet and 1 shotgun. Yellows are perfectly balanced with 2 of everything, 2 brains, 2 feet, 2 shotguns. And hey, you might have guessed it by now, but the reds are the opposites of greens. They've got 3 shotguns, 2 feet, and 1 brain. In this version, there's nothing special about any of them. They're all the same value. A brain is a brain, a shot is a shot, period. But yeah, let's get on with how to play. So these are the 3 that I pulled out. On my turn, I'm just going to give these a shake and then roll these to the table and see what all I rolled. Any shotguns you roll are going to go off to one side, and any brains you roll are going to go off to the other side. If you had rolled any feet, which I did not, then those would stay here on the table, and at this point, you're going to decide whether you want to end your turn or keep rolling. If you end your turn, you receive points for every brain you collected so far, so I would get 2 points. If I choose to keep rolling, then I would get another set of 3 dice and roll again. If I had rolled any feet, I would keep those, and then grab new from the cup. So let's assume I had 1 foot, then I would keep that and draw 2 new dice out of the cup. But since I didn't roll any feet, we're just going to take 3 new dice out of the cup, again without looking, and then roll again. This time I got 1 brain and 2 feet, and still only 1 shotgun, so I think I'll push my luck one more time. Since I already have 2 dice there, I'm only going to draw 1. Alright, now let's see what we get. Alright, I have another shotgun and then 2 feet. Again, I could keep going until I either choose to stop and score these brains, or if I roll 3 shotgun blasts. If you end up rolling 3 shotgun blasts, your turn immediately ends and you don't score any points this turn. So you have to choose to stop to get your brains before you roll 3 shotgun blasts. Otherwise, no points this turn. And that's everything for the basics of Zombie Dice. That's all you play the main game. You'll just take turns of rolling until you choose to stop, or you are forced to stop by getting blasted all heck. And then you pass the dice off to the next player, and they will do the same thing. Roll until they choose to stop and count up their brains, or get blasted all to heck. And the first player to end up getting 13 points or more wins the game, but not quite just ending immediately. Once one player gets 13 or more points at the end of their turn, every other player gets one last chance to try and pass them. So if I end up ending my turn with 14 points, then every other player gets a chance to try and score higher than me. Unfortunately, I do not get the chance to just roll again. Once someone hits 13 or more points, that is their last turn, and everyone else gets one more turn before the game's over. Then, whoever has the highest score wins the game. But hey, we're not done yet, because I promised you 2 expansions. Let's go over those. The first expansion, Zombie Dice 2 Double Feature, adds the Hunk and the Hottie dice and Santa Claus. You can play the game with adding just these two to the cup, or just Santa to the cup, or do what they call the direct-to-video sequel and add all three to the cup. Now, technically, the rules tell you to replace some of the dice from the cup, so you'll still have the same number of, I think, 13 dice in the cup. To add the Hunk and the Hottie, you're supposed to replace 2 yellow dice with them. If you want to add Santa Claus, you're supposed to replace a green die with Santa Claus. Personally, I don't ever do that. I just throw them in anyways. But technically, it says you are supposed to replace 2 yellows with the 2 Hunk and Hottie, and a green with Santa Claus. Or heck, it doesn't really matter. Just throw them all in, guys. But anyway, let's go on. Special rules about the Hunks and Hottie are, first off, the Hunks only brain side is worth 2 points, because his brain is extra tasty for being such a tough guy. Otherwise, he has 2 feet, and he has 3 shotguns, but one of his shotguns is a double blast. So just like the double brain, it is worth 2 shotgun points. So real quick way to get you to almost being blasted away right there. The Hottie's thing is that she has extra feet. She's really fast. So she's the only die that has 3 feet, so she's really hard to catch. 3 feet, 2 shotgun blasts, and 1 brain. And then Santa has the most unique stuff, as he has 3 new ones we haven't held together. So he's got the standard brain, feet, and shotgun blast. He also has the brain gift, where you didn't eat Santa's brain. That's what this one is. He just gave you 2 brains. Look at him. He's such a nice guy. He also has the energy drink side. When you roll this one, you get to turn all feet into brains. He helps you catch people. And then the football helmet. With this one, you can now survive 4 shotgun blasts before being blasted away instead of just 3. So if you have this one, you can wait until you have 4 of those to be done. If I had this, then I would not be dead yet, because I had the football helmet. Last thing about these die are that they can save each other. So let's say, for example, I had eaten Santa's brain over here. Remember, that's what this side is. This is eating his brains. The double is a gift. I'd eaten his brains. If one of these two rolls shotguns, come on, guys, this is what you do. Well, they both did it. If either of them rolls shotguns, they save Santa, which means they actually remove this from my point pool and throw him back in the cup. Santa can do the same thing for the Hunk and the Hottie. The Hunk and the Hottie can do the same thing for each other. If you have eaten one of these characters and the other one comes out and shoots you, it saves them. You take them out, put them back in the cup. You do not score those points. Oh, and one last quick silly rule. Technically, if you ever manage to go through all 13 dice in the cup, which technically could happen if you just had a lot of brains out here that you've gathered up, if you ever get to where you've used all 13 dice, you just put them back in the cup, remember how many you have, and then start going again. However, Santa Claus only comes once a year. So once he comes out of the cup and is rolled, he does not ever go back into the cup for this turn at least. So if you do get all 13 on the table and he's on the table, set him off to the side and then just put all 12 other dice back into the cup before continuing your turn. Now let's go over the next expansion, Zombie Dice 3, the School Bus, which adds this very large 12-sided school bus die. At the start of the game, you'll simply set that off to the side, and then every player will start their turn as normal by drawing out 3 dice and rolling them. After your first turn, and once you've rolled, you can choose if you want to get on the bus, but only after your first roll. If you choose to get on the bus after your first roll, you will then go ahead and grab this die, any feat you might have rolled this turn, and then make sure you roll up to 2 dice, because you still roll this plus this, so you're still rolling 3 dice. And then we'll go into what all happens from here. The first thing to keep in mind is how these dice react differently once you're on the school bus. Once you're on the school bus, any feat you roll are not re-rolled next turn, because now what that means is they are jumping off of the school bus to get away from you. So if you stay on the school bus, they get away. So if you're rolling the school bus and you roll feat, you do not re-roll these, simply set these off to the side, and then draw new dice to go on with as they have jumped off the bus. However, you can choose to chase them. If you choose to get off the bus yourself, you can get rid of the bus die, and then re-roll like it's a normal turn. Now let's go over all the different sides of the bus die. First off, there are just brains and shotguns like normal. As you roll these, you will use these brain counters or shotgun counters to keep track of that kind of stuff. See how many points you have and all that, yada yada. There are even some that have both. You get 2 brains and a shotgun blast because there's a lot of people on this bus. And then there are some extra special ones which we'll go over, such as the stop sign. If you roll the stop sign, your turn immediately ends, period, no matter what. If you roll this one, if you've been blasted away, you've gotten 3 this turn, example, whatever you rolled, then, hey, you don't get any points. If you are forced to stop and you haven't been blasted away yet, then you go ahead and score your brains. But either way, a stop immediately ends your turn. Then there's the yield sign. Yield sign is actually a good thing. If you roll the yield sign, any just based on the dice you rolled this turn, not any ones that are sitting up on the side, you get that X. Looks like I've lost. Anyway, so on the yield sign, any shotgun blast instead turn to feet this turn. So if you rolled this exact thing, these would turn to feet, run off the bus like normal. Actually, both of them would. And then we go on. If you roll the, where's it at? Dead end sign, that turns any feet this turn into brains instead. So if you happen to roll dead end and some feet, they immediately turn to brains. And then I think the last one on here are these tread marks. This is the ran over symbol. If you roll this, that means your zombie fell off fell off the bus and got ran over. When you fall off the bus, you lose 1 brain you've collected. Sucks. You fall off the bus, so you get rid of the bus, and then you can continue your turn as normal from there by continuing to draw more dice and roll them, but you cannot get back on the bus this turn. Oh, and if the only brain you have is a double brain when you get ran over by the bus, you can simply get rid of this one and take 1 brain counter to show that you still keep 1. You don't lose both brains. It's still losing just 1. And that should be everything for zombie dice. Again, when you're on the bus, you still play your turn as normal otherwise on choosing to stop or keep going. But yeah, that's zombie dice. You have the expansion you could add in for a little extra fun. It's a perfectly fun game. I enjoyed it. I bought this game a long time ago. I have fun with the good pressure luck nature of any kind of game like that. Kind of gets your heart racing. You're like, oh, come on, can I do it? Can I do it? And then you get blasted away to all heck. Adding the extra dice, I think, are fun. I like Santa Claus and his little extra stuff he gives you. The hunk and the hottie, I think, add a little bit of extra stress whenever they can get drawn. And the bus it's completely unnecessary, but it's a fun little extra thing. I mean, why not? If you could find any of them for cheap, I see no reason in not getting them. I don't think any of these are expensive enough for me to say, not worth it. They're all perfectly fun little extra bits. It's just a pressure luck dice game. Yeah, it's a good time. The expansions, I think, are worth getting for sure. If you're looking for a very silly yet spooky themed game to play this spooky season with pretty much anyone, I think it's an all ages game for sure, then you should think about getting Zombie Dice. So, in case you haven't figured it out, this tense and silly press your luck die rolling game, Zombie Dice, is Baron approved. Stupid me, how could I forget to mention? The way you decide who goes first is whoever won the last game, or whoever can say brains with the most feeling. Silly stuff.